Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. Oops. Okay, you need to do more than that.
It's on.
It's on. It's on. It's blinking. Perfect. Yeah. Close it, right?
Yeah, we'll figure out how to get it to auto do it. Now you can go ahead.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting of the Shutesbury Selectboard to order. Today is Monday, December 30th, 2024. And this is a hybrid meeting with the Select Board and our interim town administrator in the town hall, along with three townsfolk here, Michael DiChiara, Mark.
Frank again.
Right, and Tom Super. I knew the other name. Okay. Okay, so I am going to start by reviewing the agenda for this evening, and then we will launch into the meeting. So the first item on the agenda is public comment. Then under general business, we are going to tonight appoint the search committee for the town administrator. We're gonna do the Conservation Commission appointment at 5:30, just because we were asked by one of the candidates to do that, to schedule at that time. So that might come right after the search committee appointments, or we might pick up another item just to get to 5:30. We'll go through the final version of the administrative secretary's job description. Then we have a vote for the Shutesbury Athletic Club, the renewal of their license, signing of the Tri-State Mutual Aid Agreement, and then review and approval of the October 24th, 2024 meeting minutes. And then we have the town administrator reports. So we'll go ahead and Sharon, you had a question?
No, I have a comment for the public comment.
We haven't started that yet. So, okay, so the first, sorry, I'm hearing myself.
I'm just watching my
Very
computer.
disconcerting. So the first item on the agenda is public comment. I ask that people use the raised hand feature and try to limit your comments to a couple of minutes. Please identify yourself when you make a public comment. So go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, thank you. Sharon Weisenbaum, I'm at 712 Pratt Corner Road. I'm gonna just read something I wrote. It's short. I'm speaking for a great many people in town when I ask the select board to appoint Aaron Jacques to the Concom. I have no personal criticism of Mayor Fox. However, we do not understand why Ms. Fox was recommended over Tom Seifert when she has no understanding of or background in the field that would make her a good candidate. She has also never shown any interest before being recruited to become a candidate. I say recruited because it appears to the public that this was an orchestrated thing, but the public has not benefited from any transparency into why she was recruited and then recommended. We just connect the dots and see something shady is going on. We're left gobsmacked that Ms. Fox was even considered when there are so many more qualified candidates, much more qualified candidates. There are ethical concerns here, as there doesn't seem to be an unbiased ethical principle guiding these important decisions. I also want to comment on the added lack of ethics in the town council failing to recuse herself in these considerations for the Concom appointment. Already there's a huge ethics concern with the potential that 3 of 5 conservation commissioners live in one small corner of the lake, with Ms. Fox, a past president of LWA. But add to that, the town council also has a house on Lake Drive and is a member of LWA. She should not be advising on this appointment. It was outrageous that she was advising the Concom at the last meeting about ethics issues involving Lake Drive. Might she be constructing some convoluted legal analysis justifying the appointment of Ms. Fox? If so, what's her agenda? We won't be misled. She needs to recuse herself. Appointing Ms. Fox is illogical and would reward a select number of powerful and wealthy parties, including the LWA. We urge you to preserve some semblance of integrity and ethics and appoint the highly qualified Aaron Jacques. Thank you.
Other comments? Seeing none. I'm gonna give you one more minute. Okay. We're gonna move ahead with the agenda, and so the next item is the search committee appointments for the town administrator position. So we discussed at our last meeting making the appointments tonight, and we approved a work plan for the search committee. So we've had a number of folks step up. The police chief has requested to be on the committee. The finance committee has recommended Bob Groves. The personnel board, Kathy Salvador, but that has not been confirmed, so we would not be appointing her this evening. I'm going to skip over the select board for a minute. We had 3 townspeople who submitted their names: Frank McGinn, who's here, Michael DiChiara, and Elaine Puleo. And then our interim town administrator would be a non-voting member, so Gabe Bolter would be a non-voting member. So given that if we took, I think we discussed having two townspeople, but I wanted to propose to the select board, my fellow select board members, that perhaps it makes sense to do the 3 people who've stepped up. That would give us a 7-member committee. We wouldn't have any tie votes, although I can't imagine we're going to have a lot of tie votes on this, but it would give, it's kind of hard to pick amongst the 3. I mean, my other idea was we're going to pick a couple of names out of a hat. But I would feel comfortable appointing Frank, again, Michael DiChiara, and Elaine Puleo. Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think that's
So to make it a 7-member committee. Okay. All right, so do you wanna take these one by one? And let's skip over Kathy and reserve it until we get the official word from the confirmation, because I think Gabe had checked in and it was Kathy, so. Okay, so do I hear a motion to appoint Kristen Burgess as the department head representative?
So moved.
second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Make these on your line.
Stocker,
Farrell. FinCom Bob Groves. Do I hear a motion?
so moved, sorry.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Make these on your line.
Stocker,
Farrell, aye. So we'll skip the select board for now, we'll do that last. Do I hear a motion to appoint Frank McGinn to the search committee?
So moved.
second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Make these on your line.
Stocker,
Farrell, aye. Do I hear a motion to appoint Michael DiChiara to the search committee?
So moved. Oh, second.
so moved.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Make these on your line.
Stocker,
Farrell, aye. And do I hear a motion to appoint Elaine Puleo?
so moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Make these on your line.
Stocker,
Farrell, aye. And I guess, Gabe, since you're non-voting, you're there. In terms of the.
We should vote her on there.
All right, we'll vote you on there. We'll make you.
I do want to, I want to say one.
I do all the legwork. I'll make a motion we appoint interim town administrator Dave Volker as non-voting member.
All right.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Gabe, do you want to say anything?
I don't like chocolate.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Thank you, Sonia. I.
Stalker, aye.
Farrell, aye. So, I believe Gabe mentioned to me that Melissa has withdrawn her name as a possibility for the committee since you're doing the police negotiations. Is that correct? So it's between you and me. Eric, do you have
Or,
a?
I'm glad to do it or not, whatever.
Okay, and I'm happy to do it. My only constraint is I will be away for a bit of time in the middle of, starting in the middle of February, but I think given the timing, you know, I see the committee going, as soon as we have our last candidate from the personnel board, so trying to get a meeting scheduled at the beginning of January, maybe the second week in January. We have three, as I understand it, we have three applications so far. So, and there's work that has to be done that the committee has to do even before. So, yeah, the sooner we get it going. All right, so how are we doing this?
If you want to do it. Good.
We'll find a task for Eric.
Yeah, I'm glad to do it or not do it, it really doesn't matter.
Okay,
Well, here, I'll help. I make a motion that Rita Farrell serve as the town administrator, search committee, select board person.
Second.
okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Thank you, Sonia. I.
Stalker,
Just abstain. That's self. Okay, so let me just do a time check. It's 5:12. All right, so we are going to go next to the administrative secretary job description. Oh, maybe before we move on from that. I think I think everybody on that committee already is in the system, right? So you have the conflict of interest, you have open meeting law. Yes, sworn in. You just have to be sworn in.
We'll have to do appointment slips.
We'll
So we'll do them and you can sign them next meeting, which is just a week away.
Okay,
So we'll do appointment slips.
okay. And,
confidentiality.
There is a confidentiality agreement that you'll need to sign. If anybody wants to see it, they can send it to you. I think I have a copy here. It's pretty simple. It's math law.
okay. Because I think as we noted earlier, when resumes are being reviewed, it's done in executive session.
Correct, because you don't want to jeopardize those people's employment outside of the town, so.
So it can't be discussed. Can't be discussed with anybody.
And then once they're brought to you for an interview, then it's an open meeting.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I think we can get the personnel committee. It would be great to talk to them.
Next week, maybe we can do it before the.
Yeah, so next week, we're meeting on Tuesday. We did the last 2 weeks, we did Monday because of the holiday weeks. But next week we'll be meeting on Tuesday. And is that a FinCom meeting next Tuesday?
I don't know, they haven't posted anything. I checked it today and there's nothing on there, but I have to check with AJ.
Okay. All right, so
Can I ask you a question, just about the meeting, then,
which meeting?
the interview process?
The interview process?
Yeah, executive session versus not.
I think we have sort of a set of guidelines.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, My understanding from like looking at superintendent searches and stuff, that the first round is executive session with the finalists. Or is that, or it's depend on the body that's getting it?
No, you're right. It's the first session, the first round is search.
Yeah.
Is executive session.
Right.
When the candidate goes, then it's public. When you pick a candidate and they know it at that time that they're going public. They agree to that. So that's the important part there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Michael, we'll send this out. We have a description, search committee responsibilities.
So,
Okay, so that sort of addresses the question of it being an executive session as you're going through the, through the
Start in
resume.
public session and
Yeah.
then go into executive.
Right. Yeah,
Does the personnel committee have to appoint someone as a group?
Yeah,
And
they have to.
Meeting it until the 16th.
Well,
Right.
we can ask for a meeting sooner than that, so I will ask for a meeting sooner than that.
right. If it's just to do that appointment, it could be done.
Yeah, we might be able to find, probably do one on.
Hybrid.
Hybrid.
Not a hybrid,
Not,
but,
we,
remote.
all of those have been removed, so, yeah.
It just, I don't really want to wait till the 16th.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was on that, right?
Yeah. Okay, all right, so I think that we'll get the appointment letters out, get everybody sworn in, and then, I'll talk to you about the scheduling, the first meeting, I think. Yeah. We'll just have to decide, we'll have to do some sort of a, Google meeting thing to check on people's availability. All right, so, just wanted to go through the administrative secretary job description. Dave gave us all the edits. And do a final vote and acceptance of it so that we can pass it along to the personnel committee. So the two substantive changes were increasing the number of hours and increasing the grade of the position, to reflect that we want to have additional responsibilities. From some of the things that, were being done by the town administrator really didn't make sense in terms of bill paying and, or getting bills in order and, there's some other things. There's just a lot of paper that goes through that office.
We had also talked about making it administrative assistant rather than
Yes.
administrative secretary.
Yes, so we want to make sure, yes, that it says administrative assistant. But we do need to process this with the personnel committee,
Yes,
obviously, but also the finance committee. So when I know we're probably a little bit behind the eight ball in doing our select board budget. Understandably. So we're just gonna have to talk with the finance committee about the increased hours and the increase in the grade classification.
What are we changing the grade? Who's going from what to what?
From, was it 5?
I think is it 6?
It's going, we're moving into a 6. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's, a few more dollars an hour. I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what where it is.
Yeah, I don't know how they assign point
Yeah.
to your grading system.
She helped Becky do it some of that, and would it walk with Becky? through the
Yeah.
Classification.
Okay. So do I hear a motion to, approve the new, or the amended, job description for the administrative assistant, formerly the administrative secretary? So moved.
Second,
Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Make peace and will I.
Stocker,
Carol. All right. Who pulled it up, though?
I can send it again. No, I'll find it. The nightmare.
Do you want, I'm just gonna take a look and see if. There it's. Okay, how long do you think the athletic club license renewal will take? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I have it. And I'm free to put it in our folder.
Yeah,
Okay, so going
I'm
to,
gonna turn it over to Melissa, who has, was honchoed this, and, thank you, Melissa. I know it was a lot of time, a lot of documents, and,
got it done.
got it done.
We did.
Yes.
We did. So, what we had, where we had left at the last meeting, just to revise, everybody, is the club, the Shutesbury Seat Club has, a deadline of the alcohol
Beverage control.
Thank
Commission.
you. Or ABCC, a deadline to file their renewal paperwork with us, the licensing authority, so the town, the select board, licensing authority, November 30th. To renew their liquor license with the ABCC and the town. And with that comes a lot of documentation, and, this year we had, our previous, admin secretary had, moved on to another position, and the new one hadn't caught up, so it was a little bit of a catch-up process, which we did. And we have all of the paperwork now that the club needs to turn into us for both us and ABCC. And we can discuss going forward with their license, renewal. We have checked with Kristen, there has not been any issues with the MOU or any, needed police activity there. So they're all in compliance with that. And so really it's up to us to vote if we'd like to extend their liquor license for the town ABCC. And then also their other 3 licenses that we have.
And the other.
The other 3 is the trawler's license, which allows for the preparation of packaged food and pre-prepped food, the, operation of a pool table, and the live entertainment, all, quoted with Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 183A for live entertainment. Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 202 for the operation of the pool table, and then the victrolar's license, also Mass General Law, Chapter 140, I'm sorry. So we have to sign these for them,
And
and,
are those separate votes?
yes,
Okay.
so, do you have any questions before I head into that?
Are you, yeah, I guess my question is around the, so the fire chief's
Yeah,
report
fire
that
chief's
letter that we got, I don't know. I think I printed it out. So that was the one outstanding, and we,
Have a copy of Lenny's letter?
okay,
I don't know.
I put it in the, it's in
No,
the
it
share,
isn't.
it's in the share.
Yeah,
drive.
I read it.
Okay, okay. So, there was something towards the end of it, and I didn't make a note, about something about crowd control,
Okay, in here?
something about, recommending replacing, I think, smoke detectors, that they were okay, was that
That was in,
was that separate?
yeah, that was in the report from Brew.
And, so, yeah, I just want to see, I was towards the end, yeah, that was approved. Can I do it here? Yeah.
Okay, here it is. That's what you're
Yeah,
recommended, changing smokes and CO2 detection.
Yeah.
Bathroom.
yeah. And, yeah, I guess it was the crowd control thing, which I had wasn't familiar with. So the crowd manager shall, among other things, be responsible for the completion of the fire and building safety checklist on each day of operation prior to opening the facility to patrons. Each crowd manager should be reminded of the fact that if there are any items on the checklist that cannot be answered yes, the condition must be corrected before the facility can open to patrons. These checklists must be kept on the premises for a period of 1 year and must be available for inspection by the AHJ, which is the authority having jurisdiction. So is that something that's done now?
Yeah,
That's currently
it's done
done?
every day, they were open.
Oh,
Back
okay.
to the fire chief, if you look at it all. We actually keep 2 years on record.
Okay.
Needed with that.
All right, great, thank you. And I assume that replacing the CO2 and fire.
Yeah, we have not done that yet, but they did meet the code and expiration date, so they are being leveled down.
Yeah.
The next 6 months are gonna expire.
Okay.
So it's gonna change.
I just go ahead and do that. Do you have to have it re-inspected then when you?
No.
No, okay. All right, so those were my questions.
His only recommendation, change.
Yeah, okay. And, Eric, do you have any
No, I
questions?
read it.
All right. So, all right, so I'm good. Do you wanna?
Walk you through it? Okay, so the first one, that we sign is the renewal certification. So do I hear a motion to, offer renewal to the Shutesbury Athletic Club for their alcohol beverages control commission license, ABCC?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Right, and this form I'm gonna have you sign, this, is just those that have failed, or disapproved, we don't have any of that in town, so we just signed, the 3 of us just signed here.
I realize I'm deferring to you. You're like, yes,
Yes.
now we can be doing now. This portion. Okay. So we go through each one of these. All right.
Yep. I can sign them all at the end. The next one, do all in favor? You do.
Yeah. Oh, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carol, aye.
Shocker.
Make peace in the eye. The next form is also for the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission, and it is a seasonal population increase estimation form. We don't have an estimated increase from the last year, so this will be sent to them with that. We have to vote just to sign this. So, again, do I hear a motion to sign the seasonal population increase estimation form?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Carol, aye.
Shocker.
Make these a real eye. There you go. Yeah. Okay. More effort. All right, so now we'll move on to our individual licenses for the town of Shutesbury. So, do I hear a motion to approve and sign the common victrolas license for the Shutesbury Athletic Club to operate, through the 31st, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Carol, aye.
Shocker.
Make these on the line. Do I hear a motion for the town of Shutesbury to vote and sign the operation of a pool table license for the Shutesbury Athletic Club, valid through December 31st, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Carol, aye.
Shocker.
Make these on the aisle. And then last one. Do I hear a motion for the town of Shutesbury to approve and sign the live entertainment license for the Shutesbury Athletic Club, valid through December 31st, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Carol, aye.
Shocker.
Make these on the line.
And does that do it?
Guys,
Wow.
That's it. There's a packet that, no, this is just they all have to give us all this. And we will send off Mark will send off the packet that we normally send to ABCC, and then I think they usually email back and forth with it if they need anything else. And once we get that, we'll issue that to you. Okay, and I'll get this, to you with scan them, so just so we have.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Great, thanks for coming over. Okay, so we skipped around, we did the athletic club, let's go back to the Conservation Commission appointments. So we had, recommendations, for two people from the Conservation Commission. They are Erin Jacques and Mayor Fox. And, I did, attend that Concom meeting tonight, so, I heard from both folks, and, I've never met either one of you before, so I'm Mayor Rita Farrell. Want to introduce yourself?
Eric Stocker.
Also make these some.
And our interim town administrator is, Gabe Bulker. So what we are, going to do tonight is, ask you some questions, get to know a little bit about, your interest in the Conservation Commission, and we will go from there. So, I'm gonna look to my fellow.
Okay.
Yeah, Erin, why don't you come so we can see you?
These, so I don't lose anything that we got through that. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Erica, did you have questions? To ask?
Well, my main question would be why do you want to do this? That was the first question I'd ask.
I'm all about the environment. I live at the lake. That's a place that I love. I lived in Shutesbury, for 17 years. I'm just an environmentalist, and I think a lot about things at the lake and the impact on the environment through the roads. So that the lake and just the overall health of the lake. So, but that's my interest is the environment. I've been a conservation agent for about 10 years, worked in the wetland field as well. I've got about 20 years of experience working with wetlands and GIS, and I think I have a strong technical background that could be really useful to the Conservation Commission in reviewing projects and also issuing permits that are in compliance with state regulations. I know town regulations are still taking form, but I'm really good at sort of adapting and learning about the regulations, and I think I have a very strong track record in my professional experience of I think only one project went to appeal, and we negotiated a settlement. So just a really good sort of working relationship that I've developed with applicants over the years, and very sort of nimble and adaptive to how to adjust projects to meet regulations.
Okay, I'll start with Erin and then go to you. Mayor, what do you hope to achieve during the time serving on the Concom?
I mean, I think it's really important to, when you're serving a role on Conservation Commission, to understand the regulations and administer the regulations. And so I think that is what I would do as a commissioner. I think it's really important to maintain positive interactions with people, friendly, and also, professional working relationships, and just making sure that the Conservation Commission is functional and, doing things legally. And so that's my goal as a resident, to try to contribute the skills I have to make the commission stronger and better.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of adversity between, on for people's positions concerning different projects that have come into Shutesbury, and, you know, in my work, my job is to see both sides, because not only do I have to prove my side, but I also have to know what the other side is thinking, so, you know, I'm willing to listen and, you know, so, and I'm also willing, you know, I'm also able to work with people from, you know, all aspects of life. So what I would like to, I would love to be, you know, to get a better handle on, the open space that is in Shutesbury that, the town owns and what should be happening, because I understand that Concom, I believe Concom works on that as well in terms of, and, I'd like to know what, you know, whether that property, you know, what the property could be used for. There's many, little parcels at the lake that are under that, you know, are owned by the town that could be, part of open space. Some of the King parts, like little, the park that's over near the cove. I would, you know, obviously would want to know the regulations, and administer them according to, like, administer them as required. So, other than that, I just, I guess basically, I have no interest in anything other than serving. I don't have any ties or any paid projects or anything, that. Yeah, I have any ties to projects, or any interest, I would just be, going to learn this.
Well, I start by saying that, I'm really concerned about the weaponization of some of of this appointment and the Conservation Commission in general. And it's just disturbing to me, that we have such a, you know, we have a community that's just so much in support of somebody and somebody in support of somebody else. I don't like that at all. And my sense is the role of the Conservation Commission should be, is a very important role of the Conservation Commission, I would say that, should be, you know, use neutral, that is to say, the projects that are being reviewed are projects, you know, you should not even know what they are, in a sense. You just want to say, is this project gonna hurt the wetland or do something? Do either of you have opinions about that, General, Mike Frazee, or what are you thinking?
For me, I mean, that's exactly, I think. There are so many different times in this town where it's not just Concom, but it's also, you know, it could be the Board of Education, it could be, you know, it could be other, different projects that have come through town. You know, there's so many ways in which people are, you know, kind of at each other's throats, but, the environment is something that I think everybody should come together on, you know, and it shouldn't be a organization. And, you know, already there's been things that were written about me by people who don't even know me, and I find that disturbing as well. And, you know, pretty open, and pretty free to speak. I speak my mind and I don't really care what other people think, but I'm just not gonna be part of that. It's just not who I am. So, yeah, yeah, I mean, I think, wetlands work, conservation work is frequently, it's made political. And I think that part of the reason for that is when people's opinions come into it. And I think part of the job I do on a daily basis is to leave my opinion aside and look at the merits of a project that's coming before the board and assessing whether it meets the regulations. And to me, the regulations are the ultimate decider of the project, how it's designed, the mitigation that goes into it, the measures that go into protecting the wetlands and the resource areas. So really, if you're doing your job well, it's completely non-political position. You're looking at it from a regulatory standpoint, a legal standpoint, a design standpoint, with a knowledge base of, you know, the criteria that you're looking at when you're reviewing a project. And so I agree with you that frequently commissions are weaponized, and I've worked with commissions where efforts have been made to do that. And it's very challenging, but I think sticking to the regulations is how you avoid that. As soon as you start giving favoritism to one side or another, bending the rules and or over regulating things that aren't in the regulations, either side you go, it can turn political. So if you just stick to the regulations, I think it avoids politics altogether.
And yet. And yet, you know, we had, I've seen on social media, you know, we've had correspondence from folks in town who are proposing you because they feel that you somehow are going to represent their special interests. And, you know, these words are thrown around like integrity and ethics and conflict of interest. And I see all of those from the very people who accuse our town council, accuse this select board of conflict of interest. Or I think even, you know, I go back to Aaron, to the letter that you wrote about a year and a half ago, making accusations about this select board, the three of us who were in office, that were untrue. And, you know, we don't have the liberty of responding, nor do we really have the interest in responding to every criticism that we get. But when we get those criticisms and they're not based in fact, it troubles me. And there were, you know, a couple of things which, you know, I assume you recall, it was published in the Gazette, published in the Greenfield Recorder, where you made accusations. And, you know, people say we don't have regulations. Well, we do have regulations. We have regulations. Yes, we asked. We did not command, which I think was your word. We did not command the Conservation Commission.
Order.
Or was it order? Okay, I don't have the letter. I read it. That we ordered the Conservation Commission to do things, and you never spoke to us. You didn't speak to this board and confirm whether or not that was true. That's not what we were doing. So, you know, I'm wondering, where were you getting that? You know, who was feeding you information that was incorrect?
Well, so just to back up, in terms of people supporting me as a candidate, I'm not sure who exactly you mean, or like where that's derived from.
So you haven't seen any of the stuff that's come out?
No,
Okay.
no.
Are you not, you're not on the smart solar
No,
mailing list? Okay.
no. I'm not affiliated with, like, I'm not involved with Smart Solar. I don't, edit things or, you know, participate in things like that.
But you did work with Miriam on the regulations, because I remember you consulted with you when the former Conservation Commission chair. I remember you being at a meeting.
I attended meetings
Uh-huh.
as a member of the public.
Yeah.
I reviewed, you know, if I was asked for commentary on certain
Mhm.
sections of the regulations. I think where my issue was that having served with five different conservation commissions now, I have never seen a board of selectmen get involved with a commission drafting regulations. And to me, that was very unorthodox. And so that's why I took issue with it. I do think that, like, even this is very unorthodox. Like, typically, there's a review process where a recommendation is made and a person is just appointed. Like, to be sitting for a board and getting grilled to serve on a conservation commission, I've never seen or heard of such a thing. Usually the appointment is just made. So I think that it cuts both ways. I am not a political person. I don't like it. It's not how I roll. I'm a friendly person. I do have a First Amendment right to express my opinions.
Absolutely.
And I would have been happy to have a conversation if you wanted to, about that. If you, reached out to me and said, I disagree with this, I would have been happy to have a conversation. And I do believe in a, professional dialogue. And I think people can still be friends and disagree. So I guess that's where I'm coming from. I might have a different opinion than you, but that doesn't mean I think you guys are bad people. I think you obviously care very much about the town of Shutesbury. I know Eric from a past life, so I know he's a good person, and I know you guys dedicate a lot of your time to serve the town, and so that's what I'm offering myself to do. It's not to be any puppet to anybody. It's to do what I think is right, and I think if you spoke to anybody that I've ever worked with in my 20-year career, they would tell you that that's not how I conduct myself, but.
Good. I appreciate your answer. We can have a separate offline conversation, because there's more to to my concerns. I don't know about the rest of the board, but I don't think we need to go through that tonight.
Well,
Go ahead.
my thing would just simply be that, like, given that letter happened, it's wonderful to sit here and say, oh, I like you guys even though you're, but I'm sort of saying, I'm on this committee, we're in charge of appointing people, and you've written all this stuff about us, basically calling us, everything under the sun. I'm going, well, why would I appoint you? That's what it comes down to me.
Calling you everything under the sun?
Well, I mean, you said, and I'm quoting from you, that we have recently seen the select board try to override the Conservation Commission's statutory responsibilities by ordering them to approve regulations. We didn't do that. And that they drafted under the town's bylaws.
That doesn't sound like a verbatim accounting of my letter.
Well, I took it out of the paper. So I assume they've done it right. I mean, because when your name came up in all this conversation, and there are all these letters going around, this is a very hard point for me to make, to think about it. And I said to myself, I think Aaron wrote something to us like a long time ago. And that's where this comes from. I mean, we were all, again, your words, not my words, your words, trying to control and limit access to legal counsel. We were never trying to control or access. I mean, we approved thousands of dollars in legal fees and so forth that the Conservation Commission spent. The town spent money in addition to what they spent, and they in fact used a lot of the research that paid for. I just sort of, I asked the question, why would we sit here and vote for you to do this when you basically said to us that, hey, we're doing the wrong thing? And not the wrong thing, but I think my point's clear.
Yeah, can I respond?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
so I
please.
mean, I think as an elected official, you're not representing one, contingent of the town or another, right?
Oh, I
You're
know,
sort of
absolutely.
representing many voices, right? And so I'm maybe one of those voices, and maybe we didn't see eye to eye on one specific issue. And I think we could probably have a couple hour-long conversation about it over coffee at some point, which I'd love to do. I think the bottom line for me is, I think back then, there was a lot of things going on, which, I disagreed with sort of how it was all unraveling, and I know it was a complicated situation all around, right? But if you don't appoint me, my feelings aren't gonna be hurt.
Right.
I have 2 small children at home, I work a full-time job, I really, honestly, if you don't appoint me, I'm not gonna be professionally hurt or wounded in any way. it's really entirely up to you as to who you think would be the best candidate to do the role. And if you appoint me, I will do the role to the best of my ability, whether we agree on any specific issue or not. But if I disagree with people, I'm always willing to have a professional and non-emotional non-emotional conversation, I guess, about where we disagree and how can we find common ground. So.
I appreciate your comments.
Yeah, we're not taking any public comments, no. So I had a question for Mayor. You, don't have, much of a background or any background, in wetlands protection. How do you propose that you would get up to speed and, what kind of time do you think that would take?
Based on my legal background, I'm an attorney, I'm continually on a daily basis, always learning new information. I would get up to speed very quickly by throwing myself into it. I don't have children. Young children, I have adult children who don't need me, on a daily basis. I haven't served on, anything in a while, and I will, able to, I'm a good learner usually. So I did have background, it's not like I come in with no background machine whatsoever. As a newspaper reporter for 6 years, I covered every board out there, zoning board of appeals, planning and zoning, in my wetlands. I covered everything. So, and I did that in 3 different towns. So I love that, but my learning never stops. So very grateful. I may not have the expertise, but as I said, I'm always learning something. I just had I talked about it at the last meeting, you know, I have a former client who is now an adult, and I had to hone up on housing to help him. And, you know, found resources to help him. Today I moved him into his first apartment in his girlfriend, they're 18, and, you know, and gonna leave here and post online to find, you know, a couch for him and all kinds, you know, so like I've been in this area and I've worked in so many different ways on different issues that I know resources, I know how to look to learn, and I would attend all the trainings that were online. So,
Yeah, one of my favorite questions, is, this is to both of you. Can you tell us about a situation where you were faced with making a decision, that was counter to your personal opinion, but for the greater good of a larger group of people? So, where it was counter to what your own opinion might have been. Is there a situation that you had to do that? Would you handle that?
for me, on a daily basis, I'm representing people that I'm representing their interests, and it may not be my interest. Well, it's never my interest, it's their interest, and, that's my job, so I can't think of a specific situation, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're working in a professional environment, you kind of have to leave your personal opinions aside and do what's right and follow the law. And so, yeah, have I issued permits on projects where I'm like, oh gosh, this is painful? Yeah, absolutely. But I think consulting the advice of others is something that I frequently do. So if there's a project where I'm having trouble with drafting the conditions, I might seek some assistance from an outside person, like a search writer or from a consultant that I work with or something, to try to get ideas to make it stronger. I think that the power in the Conservation Commission is not in denying projects, it's in conditioning projects in such a way that the project can be constructed protecting the wetlands. And that's what I do every time.
I just have one more last question for both of you. Conflict of interest has been tossed about. And I think it's different for both of you, kind of. But I just wanna maybe start with you, Erin, and ask if you envision in your, within your current position in Amherst, and there are parts of Shutesbury that abut Amherst, where, the Conservation Commission might, they might overlap, there might be a project that crosses over town lines. How would you deal with that? How would that be dealt with if there was, you couldn't, I can't see how you could professionally, like, be in Amherst and then come to Shutesbury. It was say it was the same developer.
Right. So I think, I've already had conversations with state ethics before I submitted my email saying that I was interested in doing this. And so I would defer to state ethics, basically on a case by case basis, if something was questionable of how and if I could participate. And if it's not appropriate for me to participate, if it presents any, impression of a conflict, I would recuse myself.
And do you see any conflicts?
Well, this was discussed at the, with the town attorney, and she said that, that basically if there was a problem, that myself, if it was myself and Bob Douglas, or myself and Jan, or Bob and Jan, like, if there wasn't enough, there weren't enough members, to, be able to vote on that, for the forum, that whoever was able to vote on it could still vote on it, and that if that a butter had a problem with it, then they had the responsibility for it. So I don't know the conflicts, in terms of, other than, to me, it seems like I was a lot further away from them. And, in terms of, specifically it was the rivers that were brought up as, because, they have several properties that are close by, but, I think they're done. I don't think they're gonna be doing anything else. And, that would be the only one that was brought up that really would be overlapping, my understanding, is with myself and Bob and Jan. But, in terms of my circle, pretty much everybody within that circle has, they're pretty stable, like,
And those circles aren't even accurate. So
yeah, I
wouldn't
don't,
go there.
it's just that as a, it isn't accurate, but like, even so, like, most of the people that are around me are. They're not gonna do, you know what I mean, like, there's not a lot of projects that are gonna be going in with them, my knowledge.
There's an example that I thought of, earlier. There was when we had a solar thing where the 3 select board members all were abutting a piece of property. We were able to figure it out so that the 3 of us could do our work. Right, like, we were able to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, it's not impossible.
Okay, so, what's your pleasure? I'm asking what's your pleasure?
All right, I'm gonna make a motion that Mayor Fox be appointed to the Conservation Commission.
Second.
Further discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Thank you so much.
Tucker,
Carol, aye. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
All right, we have the, signing of the tri-state mutual aid agreement.
Are you folks familiar with what this is? It is your mutual aid agreement, the fire departments to all join forces and go, and it's,
Right.
in the contract, it lists all the towns. And this is the original contract here, at your pleasure, if you vote to sign it tonight, I have it available.
Okay.
One was just an introductory letter.
No, yeah.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the tri-state fire and mutual aid agreement?
Yeah, so moved.
Second,
Discussion? Yep. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Thank you, Joe, aye.
right,
Farrell, aye. Last item before the town administrative report is review and approval of the minutes of October 24th, 2024. So your motion to approve?
I'm sorry. I'm just reading down the agenda.
Do I hear a second?
second,
All right, I reviewed them, they look good, thank you. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Thank you, Samuel, aye.
Stocker,
Farrell, aye. All right. Dave, you have the
Before you
floor.
head into that, Dave, I just have a find the clerk's thing, but sure, please, yeah. So this, we voted last time, we didn't have it prepped.
Oh,
It's just the license for clerk to operate their audit.
So we just had,
Just, yeah, we just need to find it. That and then this page here.
this is that.
Thank you. No, just that one.
Just one page.
Yeah, that was my marker with the.
okay,
flat page.
okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just want to remind everybody out there that's listening and, the board that we are putting our budget expense report up on the internet. So if you want to see where the town money is being spent, it doesn't tell you who it's spent by, but it tells you what each department is spending. So you go on the town of Shutesbury.org website, go under boards, and then there's a thing that says budget. And if you have the budget line, the December recent expense report is up there. We're going to put it up there once a month, so you can look and see. And that is my segue into saying that we have some areas that we are having, over expenditures in. So my gut feeling, from my years in doing budgets, and that's been more than a town administrator, I've been doing budget for about 26 years, is that we're not budgeting enough in various areas. We're too tight because we're trying to conserve, which is a good thing, but it's biting you in the butt for normal things like staplers. We don't have an operating stapler upstairs. It sounds silly, but some of your basic needs are just not there. I am running out of office supply funds. And the biggest fund that I'm concerned about right now, and it's going to affect the select board budget for next year, is the PFAS funding. So we have pretty much expended most of it. The last expense report I had, there was $32,000 left for us to pay. Now, what I want people to realize is every month, every quarter, I should say, each house is being tested at a cost of $287, and that's 4 times a year. So this month alone, I'm catching up on bills that haven't been paid. So today I accumulated over $4,000 worth of bills that need to be paid. So if a house, and we just had 2, the church and another home, that needed the POET system, that's $900. Just install that, and then you start doing the testing regularly. So I'm trying to get a pulse on what that's annually going to cost the town, and my guess is if you have no more homes, and that's probably impossible, it'll be about $50,000 a year.
How many do we have now?
I'm not sure the number.
Yeah.
I've heard that it's a lot.
I think it was around 78.
I thought it
Oh.
was 70.
Yeah.
I didn't want to,
Sorry.
yes,
75.
yeah. So you start multiplying that
Yeah.
by $300 a household to keep the testing going, and you're talking about a huge sum of money that is gonna hurt. And so, the PFAS, I am working on trying to get the borrowing done. I don't know why it wasn't completed. It had nothing to do with the treasurer. It had to do with us being the select board admin, supplying the bank bond council with letters substantiating why it was an emergency borrowing. So today, that's what I worked on, trying to figure out. I've tried to get Time Bond to respond to me. They gave me some. But today I just went to the DEP and said, why? You know, because I traced it all the way back to November of 23, but nothing says the date of the occurrence. Does anybody know the date of the occurrence?
The day
Before 23.
Yeah, the day that the PFAS was discovered. The address of the occurrence.
the address of the occurrence was the fire station.
Okay,
Right. But the date, there's DEP documentation. So DEP came in, I think it was in the summer of 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And it was voluntary participation by the town to look at the water supply. And once DEP was paying for all the testing, and once they started doing some of the testing,
that's when they discovered it.
that's when they discovered it, and then it morphed into the town having to pick up responsibility. So DEP paid for some of
Okay.
that.
So I read back all the way today, all the emails to November 23. And couldn't nail that down.
Okay.
So I've gone ahead and contacted DEP to try to get that information.
I mean, I can look in my
I don't know if any of you
file,
have
I'm
any.
sure, yeah.
Okay.
Was there nothing in?
It's strange because all the emails refer to the application, can't find the application. So that's just an update on PFAS and the
Right.
cost. And so the letters are mailed out. We've succeeded in that, updating that. We have a couple letters that we need to do a little more on. And the last thing that I'm working on two things, getting all the invoices up to date and, finding out how to write bond counsel this letter. So we need to get that letter done in the next week or so, because the clean energy people, the water pollution, whatever they're called, WPAT. I always use the acronym. People don't like acronyms, but it's Water Pollution Abatement Trust. They are anxious to fund this borrowing. And so we should see that coming down the pipe soon. So that is the critical thing I've been working on. The second, of course, is getting Zoom up and running, and I've contacted them, and I'm waiting for a person to come and update us and then get that information out. So we signed the mutual compact agreement. The Canon copier is broken.
I see the answer to my question.
Yeah,
What,
the feeding document
yeah,
broken.
to fix that. And I'm trying to-
Yeah, It's no, the parts and the thing, and I can't find where we have a maintenance contract on that. So I called Canon, they're sending someone out, they didn't tell me I had a maintenance contract, so I don't know if we bought that outright.
That's a good, I don't know.
We've had it for a long time.
I know that, Gabe, I had shared some thoughts on a, better option with Gabe that did have a contract and supply it to owner as well.
Yeah, Canon is in New Hampshire, and they need to send somebody down here while someone is here. And he called Well, we can figure it out, but when they call on the day they wanna come and it's on the day before Christmas, it doesn't work. Right.
Yeah,
So the nice thing about having a lease agreement on a machine is you don't have to do this. It's all part of the agreement and they come. I've never had to wait a week for a person to come for a copier. So it's a minor problem, but just be aware that it's broken and it's going to, of course, cost to fix. So other than that, I really, I would like to go to every other select board meetings. Mainly because I would like to start going to the FinCom meetings and not have them be on the same night. So I'd like to put us back into a rotation. I think we are caught up on a lot of things. Today we got out the letters for all the annual reports to be turned in. So Abby, I called her Abby 2 today with her permission, because the first Abby is gone and now we have Abby. She's here till January 22nd, but she was just a whiz in getting stuff out today.
Great.
So she got all the letters out today. We did have an error, but Gail was good enough to tell us what it was. We had the wrong year in a certain spot. But ignore that. You are doing fiscal 24 in your annual report, not 23. But we got it out, got it in people's mailboxes. So hopefully we'll get that started. The other recommendation I would have for you folks is to talk with the FinCom and maybe consider moving town meeting to May. Because especially with all your transfer and your turnover and doing the budget on such a tight schedule and the school budget issues that we're having, that April is very aggressive. And you don't want to find yourself in a position where you've done a budget and the school is not ready. And then you're backpedaling. So that's a consideration for you folks, and take it to FinCom and have a discussion with them. Unless you have a bylaw that states you have to have it on a certain day.
Oh,
You do
I thought
not
we
have
did
to.
not.
I thought we,
We changed the date from first Saturday in May or second Saturday in May to the end of April.
right,
But we also left it open to change it, and I don't remember the exact verbiage of that.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
normally they don't, but I just want to make sure that,
We moved it all over during COVID.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you
right.
did that at the end of this, the
Yeah.
AG didn't say anything, you're fine. But anyway, there you go. That's my thought on that. I'm gonna start helping with the budget in January. I had to take care of some issues that we were having between now and then. And the holidays really put a time restraint on things. So if you have any questions for me or want me to work on anything,
I have a date point for you for the PFAS though.
Okay.
Volunteer testing was happening during the summer of 2021.
21, so
Yes, I don't know at what point it
It happened fairly.
was
quickly.
identified at
Yeah.
that point, but.
How did you find that? I was just looking through my,
I did a quick PFAS thing.
okay.
that's great, but
Water
I
testing.
know Google is hard to go way back.
Yeah, Google it, it's really
Yeah,
rough. It's
yeah.
awful.
Yeah, I was just trying to do it and I couldn't.
Yeah.
It was not a business.
so who are we saying discovered the PFAS problem?
And,
There was-
UMass, remember?
Yeah,
I was gonna say
UMass?
UMass.
Came in
UMass.
and did the test.
They identified
UMass.
it in the area, and
Yeah.
remember that postcard.
Somebody
went
came in
around
like
for
a graduate
volunteer-
student.
And then DEP.
Volunteer, and then that's it, that's when.
That's when in motion.
Yeah,
I just want to write an intelligent letter to the.
Yeah.
but it was
Lawn
around, the
council.
voluntary testing, postcards had gone around that time. Or right before that, maybe it was May of that year.
There is also, my recollection is we had, Jeffrey Arps come in and he did a
He's
presentation.
been trying to help me.
So, yeah, so there was that whole history. There's stuff out there. I gotta look. I'll go back. I'm hoping I have just a peek at.
I'm looking for something we can make a nice paragraph out
Yeah.
of that says this is why we needed emergency funding, not just we needed it because it's a dangerous situation and we had to fix the problem. I could write that tomorrow,
Right.
but I don't want that to be what I present.
I
I
thought
will
I
look.
got the postcards. so-
Yeah, just something.
I mean, it doesn't mean, I mean, I've said for a long time that PFAS is a huge, it's gonna be a huge problem in this town for decades. we're just seeing the beginning of it, I think. That's my,
We really are, because our neighboring towns are finding it. this
yes, I'm saying.
So you got, yeah, so it's growing rapidly.
So Gabe, what do we do about, the money? If we're gonna run out of money during this fiscal year for paying for the testing, are you anticipating then going to the finance committee for a reserve fund transfer?
I don't know if there's gonna be enough. We have to really look at what's going on. Yes and no. If it becomes an issue and you get more and more and more, then I think a special town meeting's in order. And then I think you have to take it out of free cash or raise them. I don't know what your levy limit is, but the conversation has to start with FinCom.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where we'll start, and I'll put it on their agenda, but I want you guys aware that that's where I'm headed. So there's no blind. Fighting of anything.
Yeah, maybe when they get on their agenda, we should try to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you posted.
It's a permanent issue, and that's, it
Right.
has been up
It has to be built in.
funding. Yeah, it's gotta be a new budget line item. And, I did find an email today where Becky had asked Ty and Bond to help with figuring out how she's gonna manage through June of 24. So she was thinking about future costs and what was gonna have to happen.
Right.
But we've gone through 150,000 ish, yeah, and I know this is gonna be an ongoing thing. So, it's unfortunate, but I think it's, yeah. So, and the other question I had was there, I probably should ask the attorney first, there's a thought about how we pay that loan back. Has that ever been brought up?
Yeah, well, there was, when we first got it, there was talk about some loan forgiveness, and then, we paid the loan out, I don't know, it was 20 years.
Yes.
So, I don't know when, I mean, we signed some sort of loan document. so
We
it
did,
was gotta be-
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
about when it begins to amortize. But it was taking so long to even just get this done.
Okay. All right, so that gives me a starting point.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. That's it.
Okay,
Yes, we.
Gail?
In terms of dates, did you check the sort of history prologue for each of the tag and bond reports that are posted on the town admin page?
Not, I didn't know there was anything there on the town admin page.
Yeah.
Today I spent all my time printing out time bond stuff from 2023 on.
I believe that's where they are, but
So,
as I remember, each of those reports started with a history of where things were.
great, that's a good tip, thank you, Gail. So okay,
Yeah, it's right on the town administrator.
I don't know why I didn't think of that, but I didn't.
The responsibility notice was issued November 2000.
Okay. I know we could piece this together and just
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to do
There
it,
you go.
not taking a long time.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, we're all set. We're gonna meet next week and then 2 weeks after that. We assume, right?
Oh, no.
What?
Question of letters, please. Appointment letters?
We're working on it.
Okay.
So we got what you sent, and Geneva looked for appointment slips. So that's why I brought up tonight, starting with anybody folks appoint, we're gonna start doing them regularly and signing off on them, and then we have to catch up on all the old ones. And one of my thoughts was, and we might as well just chat about it, is you're so close to June, do you want to, are your appointments yearly or tri-annually?
Usually unless we have vacancies like this one.
Right, so do you want to go through and appoint everybody?
We should just do it.
Just do
Yeah.
it, okay, because I didn't want to go through the labor of that.
I think Gail, did you have that all done, Gail?
Yeah, I do. They've
Okay.
got December 23rd dates on it, but that can be changed to whatever you want.
Okay, so you did all the appointment slips?
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, wow, yeah, okay.
There are 15 postal and 110 by email.
Wow. Okay, so Gail, I'll get in touch
Just
with you.
a point of information is maintaining the appointment letter and appointments part of the new, what are we calling her now? The admin assistant job description?
That is going into the, yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Phew. So should I send out those letters now? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that legwork, wow.
We voted it back in June. So like.
I've constructed a system for the next go round.
Great, thank you. Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Make please, O'Neill, aye.
Dr. I,
Carol, aye. Thank you, everybody.
all right.
Okay.
Constantly.